Hello, and welcome to my home. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple of videos. We'll see how this works. I'm gonna start out with, one component of my house. I built a bus, and I live in it. So I figured I would go ahead and show you how stuff works, how things are set up, and maybe you can get some ideas if you ever want to build your own bus or build your own van or whatever it is. So yeah. So this is my shower. Started out about a year ago. I built the frame, I built the enclosure, and throughout time I've been modifying it, changing things to make it, work better. And I'll go through it and I'll show you how it works. When you live in a bus, you have a bunch of decisions to make. Do I have black and gray tanks? I decided not to. If you have black and gray tanks, you can drain shower water and, wastewater and toilet excrement and all that, and you can drain it out and house it until you dump it. That's not the way that I did it. I did it a little differently. I went my own way, so to speak. But anyway, so you see this table. Pretty good table. Add some space. Horizontal surfaces are useful. Very, very useful when you're starting from a blank slate. So yeah. So the first question is, well, how do you take a shower when that's in the way? Well, you use your muscles. Let's pick the table up. And there you go. Now you got plenty of space. So right here's the shower pan. I've gone through two of these because I haven't, like I said, when you come up and build your own things from scratch, you have to, I guarantee you'll go through a couple different, designs. So this is what I ended up with. Just took a shower today. You can see the water there. When you live alone, weird things get funny. I don't know. So, I cut a hole in the floor of the pan. Got a little plastic drain from Amazon. Just screwed it in. There you go. Drain. Done. Now, I don't have a sump, and I wish I did, because it's kind of a pain in the ass to get rid of all the water. But we'll get into that later. Basically, you just take this big old squeegee and you just run it over. When, depending on the angle of the bus, if the bus is angled forward, you're gonna have a whole lot of water on this side of the pan. And like I said, it'd be a lot easier if I had a pump, or a sump, but I don't. So you can take some pliers or whatever and pick the pan up, and then the water drains over here. And then eventually you just take a washcloth, or take a washcloth or a towel or whatever, and just sop it up and drain it into my little sink. I just installed this guy. Took a 5-gallon bucket, 5-gallon tank, flipped it upside down, and then made the drain right there. Runs. Basically, you got a trap situation. I haven't really figured out the tubing kind of kinks in the back, so I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. I'm probably going to take some worm gear clamps, pipe clamps, and straighten it out. I've used that before. It works really well. So anyway, I got a couple 6-inch brackets. You just attach them there, attach them to the wall. Very simple design. So the shower itself, you got I think this is cold and hot. I'll get into that in a little bit. This thing, what the heck is that? Well, it's a piece of threaded rod. Goes in, comes out. This is closed, and this is fully open. I will explain. I'm not going to tell you what that is. It's pretty self-explanatory. But back here, you have this It's an auto shut-off valve. Take this, push it in. That closes the flow to the shower head, and then diverts to this, which is controllable. It's not 100% shut off, but it's useful for what I use it for. If it's dripping, I just put it over top of the put it over top of the sink, and it drains into the sink. But as soon as I open it up, it drains straight away. So anyway, I'll give you a quick look at that. This, of course, is the shower curtain. Goes all the way around. Again, ordered from Amazon. Most of what I order is from Amazon just because of my mail situation. You know, when you live a mobile life, mail is kind of weird. But anyway, I didn't really feel the need to waterproof everything, just this wall basically, because this wall is the only one not protected by the shower curtain. Got a little waterproof tape that keeps the water from getting in the side of that side of the pan. That side's open, but I use the shower curtain, and so no water gets in there. But if it did, it would just, you know, evaporate. Anyway, so that's the basic setup of the front side, and then we'll show you the inner workings in the back. So here we are, where all the action happens. This 20-gallon tank yes, I cut that hole. Thank you very much. Water. Doesn't look like it maybe, but it's very clean water, just because of the way that the light hits it. So you got 1, 2, and 3 open holes. Water goes out from the bottom, in from the top, and sucks out to a separate pump on that copper piece right there. So, copper piece goes to a standard RV pump. Goes down to the cold side of a 4-gallon water heater. That's 11.5 amps, if you're curious what that 11.5 A is. This draws 11.5 amps when it's on. So water goes in at a T-piece, goes into the valve, which shuts it off and turns it on. So I can get cold water directly from the pump, or I can get hot water directly from the water heater. You see how that's routed. Obviously this goes through the wall, and that goes to those valves in the front. Now, the one in the middle goes up to the head. This right here, obviously I have a 30 amp piece of wire, 30 amp cord, and then right here is the filling hose if I can find water. And that's the main reason I designed it this way, because you cannot always find a good source of water. But if you go to a truck stop, which actually offers water spigots or whatever, water filling station, then I can use my hose to connect here, and I can fill up my water tank. It's got a little automatic, or it's got a little quarter valve on there. So water goes in, water comes out. Now I call this the preheat circuit. You can get water directly from the water heater to the hot side of the valve on the front, which again goes up through here to the head. And to do that, I would just shut this off. Or I can preheat the water tank by opening that valve and hot water will come out of here and preheat the tank. So I'm not limited to 5 gallons, but this 5-gallon water heater heats up the full about 15 gallons that's in here, if that makes any sense to you. Check valve keeps water from flowing back, which is useful when you have to change out the filter. This is a whole house filter, 10-inch. You see it back there? Got some water cleaning products down there. But now, that's one pump. Got a pump right there. That's the second pump. Second pump pumps water from the bottom of the tank down along that circuit, and that's where this comes in. Push forward from the front, closes off this valve. It's a quarter turn valve, and the reason that this is here is because of that. When I close this valve off, it increases the suction. So if the filter is gunked up with stuff, it's going to need more pressure to push water through it, which means I have to create higher amounts of suction to pull water from the pan into the pump. I got this little quarter turn valve. I just opened that up. I do have a check valve, but that's really just a backup to keep water from going from the tank all the way into the pan as a backflow. So this is basically a backflow preventer. So anyway, you got this pump. It's a 1 horsepower pump. Draws about 6.5 amps. Water gets sucked from either the tank or the pan, or both. So there's a balance there. So it sucks water from something. So if I want to stop sucking water from the pan, because it will get airlocked, I just open this and it will keep water full in the pump and it's not going to airlock out. That water goes from there to the filter, as you can see back there, and from the filter comes up, drains back to the top of the tank. Top of the tank, middle of the tank, bottom of the tank. So that's how that works. I can access the tank by obviously pulling this off, and I use a syringe to add cleaning products straight through here. So I don't know, it's just a little bit of a extra piece of info there that you probably didn't care about. But anyway, so I get electricity, and I'll go through my electrical system later, but I plug this guy in to this guy. It's 120 volt AC. I got my water heater, which is on a switch across the room. I just plug this guy in, and it turns on by plug, doesn't turn on by switch. I have a switch for the pump though, which is down here. Switch for the pump. It's kind of a janky way to hold on a water tank, but it works. So yeah, that's basically how it works. So to summarize, basically what happens is, well, I'll start from the beginning. When you're taking a shower in a bus and you don't want black or gray tanks, you got to take a shower a little bit differently. Most people use, like, I think they call them Navy showers, and they just limit themselves to like 1 gallon. I didn't want to do that. I wanted a refreshing shower that I feel clean when I get out of it. So what you do is you take a big towel, put it down on the floor there. I finally figured this out. Got myself a little sprayer. Put that in. It opens this valve, and then all the water diverts directly to the sprayer. That's got a control on it. you unplug it, and the shower head goes. So you rinse yourself off with the sprayer, soap up, rinse yourself off again on the towel, take the towel, squeeze it out in there, and all the soap and the soapy water is contained in the sink, which drains out onto the ground. So the whole point of doing that is to keep soap from getting into your water tank, you want that to stay clean. Obviously, it is a pain in the ass to clean that on a constant basis, trust me. So you do your soap stuff first, and then basically you just let yourself rinse off, kind of like, you know, lounging in a pool. You just let the water go on you. If it's a cold day, you preheat the water as I showed you, and then you know, like I said, you do your soap stuff, rinse it off, get rid of the soap into the sink, and then you just stay in there as long as you got electricity to run the pump. It's pretty sweet, man. Been working on this stupid shower for like a year to get it right, and I finally dialed it in, so it's working. So the whole point of this, let's say that you're in here, and let's say you didn't have this. Well, if your filter is gummed up and it's not sucking water through it, or the water is not getting pushed through the filter, well, it's not getting sucked from the drain either. So when you push this in, it closes off the feed line from the tank to the pump, which increases vacuum pressure at the drain. So that vacuum pressure sucks water from the pan, and then when you want to stop sucking, because this thing does get airlocked, you pull this out, and then plenty of water will go down from the feed line from the tank into the pump, and then it won't get airlocked, because if it gets airlocked, it stops sucking altogether. So it's kind of a balance. So you're doing a shower a little bit differently, but the benefits are, you know, you can take a shower. I take showers in Walmart parking lots all the time. I take them at truck stops, whatever. But the most important thing is, if you find yourself with no truck stop, no nothing, how are you gonna take a shower? I used to do it with baby wipes, you know, that kind of thing, that old classic. But now that I got this thing dialed in, I don't have to do that anymore. I always got clean water. It's a beautiful thing. So I use up about a gallon of water to do the soaping procedure. And, you know, when I go down to about 5 gallons, I just fill up 5 gallons. It's not hard to do that, but try filling up 20 gallons. Oh my God, it is a pain in the ass. So, you know, you just top it off rather than having to fill it all the way back up. Besides, if you run out of water, shower don't work. I think that's obvious. So you never want to run out of water. So it's just a different way of doing it. It's pretty good. I have no complaints. You know, being that it's summer, I haven't had to run the hot water heater. I've cleaned it out, but I haven't had to run the hot water heater very much at all. But come winter, trust me, it is very nice to have a hot shower in the winter time. I'll go through a whole bunch of other stuff in future videos, but I figured I wanted to jumpstart my channel a little bit with this little tutorial about how I've set up a shower. And I don't know, maybe you get some ideas. Anyway, thanks guys. See you on the next one. Bye.